Hello everyone, this is HYBE on October 29th. In this video, I'm going to primarily speak in English because there's a lot to cover and I might have to make another video later tonight because of this. Anyway, 하이보입니다. 10월 29일 방송이고 이번 영상에서는 다룰 게 꽤나 많고 오늘 밤에 어쩌면 영상을 하나 더 찍어야 될 수도 있을 것 같아서 영어로 하는 점 이해 부탁드리고 대신 원문은 한글로 읽은 다음에 영어로 번역을 해드리도록 하겠습니다. So I'm gonna go over two things majorly in this video. One, HYBE's apology statements, and then HYBE versus Min Heejin's second injunction case. The court decision was made today, right? And then I'm gonna briefly touch upon what's gonna happen in 10 minutes tonight. Yeah. So. And first of all, I would like to say that as a HYBE shareholder, I want to approach this all of this with a sense of objectivity. It's very easy to get wrapped up in opinions, right? But I believe it's essential to base our discussion on verified statements and facts to understand the full picture. Okay, so first, let's start with HYBE CEO Lee Jae-sang's apology over the monitoring document, right? So HYBE acknowledged that parts of the report were inappropriate and offensive, stating that it was originally intended to help track market trends. So here we go. HYBE 모니터링 문서 관련하여 HYBE CEO로서 사과 말씀드립니다. 지난 10월 24일 국회 문화체육관광위원회 국정감사에서 지적된 당사의 모니터링 문서에 대해 아티스트분들, 업계 관계자분들, 그리고 팬 여러분께 고개 숙여 사죄 말씀드립니다. 해당 문서는 업계 동향 및 이슈에 대한 다양한 반응과 여론을 사후적으로 취합하는 과정에서 작성된 것입니다. 시장 및 아티스트 팬의 여론을 파악하기 위한 목적으로 일부 리더십에게만 한정해 공유되었으나 해당 문서의 내용이 매우 부적절했습니다. K-POP 아티스트를 향한 자극적이고 원색적인 표현이 그대로 담긴 점, 작성자 개인의 견해와 평가가 덧붙여진 점, 그리고 그 내용이 문서로 남게 된 점에 대해 회사를 대표해 모든 잘못을 인정하며 책임을 통감하고 있습니다. 특히 전혀 사실이 아닌 역바이럴에 대한 의혹까지 더해져 무고한 아티스트 분들과 구성원들이 오해와 피해를 받고 있는 상황에 대해 매우 죄송하고 참담한 심정입니다. 문서에 거론되어 피해와 상처를 입게 된 외부 아티스트 분들께 정중하게 공식적으로 사과드립니다. 각 소속사에는 별도로 연락드려 직접 사과드리고 있습니다. 또한 회사로 인해 비난의 화살을 받고 있는 HYBE 뮤직그룹의 모든 아티스트 분들께도 진심을 다해 공식 사과를 전하고 있습니다. 해당 문서를 공유받은 리더십의 문제인식이 부족했음을 인정하고 CEO로서 해당 모니터링 문서 작성을 즉시 중단시켰습니다. 다시는 이러한 문제가 발생하지 않도록 가이드를 수립하고 내부 통제를 강화할 것을 약속드립니다. 다시 한번 이번 일로 인해 상처를 입으신 아티스트 및 업계 관계자분들, 팬 여러분, 그리고 K-POP을 사랑해주시고 응원해주시는 모든 분들께 사죄드립니다. 회사의 대표로서 통렬한 반성 그리고 자성과 성찰을 통해 과거 잘못된 부분은 철저히 개선하고 모든 K-POP 아티스트의 권익과 팬 여러분에 대한 존중을 최우선하여 K-POP 산업의 건전한 발전을 위해 최선의 노력을 다할 것을 말씀드립니다. 감사합니다. HYBE CEO 이재상. Alright. So, English translation. Apology regarding the HYBE monitoring document. As the CEO of HYBE, I would like to sincerely apologize for the recent issues concerning the monitoring document highlighted during the National Assembly audit of the Culture, Sports, and Tourism Committee on October 24th. I extend my deepest apologies to the artists, industry stakeholders, and fans impacted by this matter. This document was created as part of our efforts to gather post-event reactions and public opinion regarding industry trends and issues. Although it was shared with only a few leaders to gain insight into the market and artist-fan sentiments, the content was highly inappropriate. The document included provocative and explicit language towards K-pop artists, personal views and evaluations from the writer, and was permanently documented in this form. We take full responsibility for this matter and deeply regretted it. We are particularly remorseful over the completely unfounded speculations of reverse marketing, 역바이럴, that have led to misunderstandings and harm to innocent artists and staff. To all external artists mentioned in the document who were hurt or affected, I extend a formal and respectful apology. We are reaching out to each agency individually to apologize directly. We also express our sincerest apologies to all HYBE Music Group artists who have faced criticism because of this issue. I acknowledge the lack of awareness among leadership who received this document and as CEO have immediately halted the creation of such monitoring documents. We commit to establishing new guidelines and strengthening internal controls to ensure this does not happen again. Once again, I apologize to the artists, industry professionals, fans, and everyone who loves and supports K-pop. As a representative of our company, I pledge a thorough reflection and improvement of past mistakes. Moving forward, we'll place the rights of all K-pop artists and respect for fans as our highest priorities, and we will work tirelessly for the healthy growth of the K-pop industry. Thank you. HYBE CEO Lee Jae-sang. So, what do you guys think? They've taken responsibility, right? Confirming that internal leaders have received the report, but that they will now end this type of monitoring entirely, right? And their apology also includes an emphasis on accountability, right? Especially for any harm caused to artists inside and outside the company. So to me, it sounds very sincere, and it's notable that there are no excuses, almost none that could be found. They are like, a deepest apology and remorse to all the people who might have been hurt by this issue, right? Very crystal clear. And I want to point out that this, monitoring document was part of the 7 deadly sins that Min Heejin planned ahead as a strategy to take down HYBE, right? HYBE 절대 죄악. It was last item according to journalist Lee Jin-ho, who revealed all these through his YouTube channel, right? 편파적인 리뷰 공유, 강명석 가스라이팅. She even named 강명석, the writer of this report, by name, right? And she planned to wage a media war by sharing this monitoring documents, and we're now seeing this today, right? Although officially we don't know how it was leaked or through which route it was shared on online community, right? Because it spread like a wildfire over the weekend, right? I think last Saturday by Korean time. But anyways, so that was that. And as you know, right after HYBE, removed her from the CEO position of Adore, she said, I also have a plan. 나도 계획이 있어. And she said, I will fight to death to, I guess, reinstate her, or to have HYBE reinstate her as CEO. And speaking of CEO position, let's move on to HYBE versus Min Heejin's second injunction case. As you know, like I said, she filed an injunction demanding HYBE honor her term as CEO, but the Seoul Central District Court dismissed this request today. A lot of my subscribers were like, when is the decision going to come out? And I was actually going to provide you updates by, going over this official, the status dashboard. And while I was preparing for this video, or at least like a rough draft this afternoon, there was no decision, but then the article came out, right? So, Min Heejin's return as Adore CEO blocked. Court dismisses injunction request. Min Heejin 어두워 대표 복귀 불발. 법원 가처분 각하. Let me read this briefly in Korean. 자, 민희진 전 대표가 대표이사로 재선 임해달라는 취지로 제기한 가처분 신청을 법원이 받아들이지 않았다. 가처분 신청을 각하했다. 각하는 소송이나 청구 요건을 갖추지 못했을 때 본안 심리 없이 재판을 끝내는 것을 말한다. 재판부는 민 전 대표의 가처분 신청이 부적법하다고 판단했다. 하이브가 이 사건 이사들에게 신청 내용과 같은 업무 집행을 지시하더라도 이사들은 독립적으로 이 사건 안건에 대한 찬반 여부를 판단, 결정해야 하고 하이브의 지시에 따라야 할 법적 의무를 부담하지 않는다고 말했다. 왜냐하면 민희진 씨가 하이브가 어도어 이사진에게 나 CEO로 복귀하게 만들어, 그러니까 민희진을 CEO로 복귀하게 만들어 라고 어도어에게 말하라고 했는데 이거 자체가 성립이 되지 않는다는 거죠. 이어 신청 내용과 같은 가처분을 명한다고 해도 어떤 법적 효과가 생기지 않아 신청에 이익이 없다고 덧붙였다. 피보전 권리에 대한 소명도 부족하다고 지적했다. 재판부는 주주간 계약의 당사자인 주주가 자신이 지명한 이사로 하여금 업무 집행과 관련해 특정한 행위를 하도록 해야 한다고 정한 규정인 프로큐어 조항을 언급했다. 그러면서 프로큐어 조항은 주주, 이사 및 회사 사이의 관계에 관한 상법상의 기본 원리에 반한다는 점에서 계약 당사자 사이의 효력에 관해 논란이 있다며 이 사건 조항의 유효성은 본안 소송에서의 면밀한 심리를 거쳐 판단돼야 할 필요가 있다고 판시했다. 또 조항의 채권적 효력을 인정해도 조항의 내용을 강제로 이행할 것을 구하는 청구가 가능하다는 근거를 찾기 어렵다며 이 사건 신청과 동일한 내용의 청구가 본안 소송에서 인정될 수 있다고 단정하기 어려운 상황에서 동일한 내용의 단행적 가처분을 명하기는 어렵다고 밝혔다. 그래서 결론은 본안 소송에서의 면밀한 심리를 거쳐 판단해야 될 필요가 있다고 하는 거죠. Alright, so let's see. Producer, former Adore CEO and Heejin's executive producer Min Heejin's injunction request to be reinstated as Adore CEO has been dismissed by the court. In this case, the word dismiss is said kakha. Okay. On the 29th, the Seoul Central District Court Civil Division 50 Chief Judge Kim Sang-hoon dismissed Min's request for an injunction against HYBE to enforce voting rights. A dismissal, kakha, in this context means that the court concluded the case without a full trial due to insufficient grounds for the claim. The court deemed Min's injunction request legally flawed. The court explained, even if HYBE instructed Adore's directors to carry out tasks per the injunction request, each director must independently decide on the agenda, without any legal obligation to follow HYBE's instructions. The court further noted that even if the injunction were issued, it would not create any enforceable legal effect, thus lacking merit, right? And we kind of expected this from how the judge talked to Min Heejin's lawyers, a couple weeks ago in court, right? The court also found a lack of substantiation for Min's right to preserve. It referenced the procure clause in the shareholder agreement, which stipulates that a shareholder-nominated director must carry out specific actions as directed. The procure clause conflicts with fundamental corporate principles under Korean law, raising concerns about its enforceability even among contract parties, the court said. The validity of this clause requires careful examination in the main trial. The court concluded, even if the clause is valid, it's difficult to find legal grounds to enforce it through coercive means. Without certainty that such claims would be upheld in the main trial, it's not appropriate to grant an injunction based on them. So yeah, that's it. To me, this is not surprising at all, although a lot of people were waiting for this decision, right? But yeah, they simply dismissed her request. Now, let's sorry, let me take a quick sip of water. Yeah, so to summarize, in the court's view, Adore's directors aren't legally obligated to follow HYBE's instructions blindly, right? Even if HYBE were to order, hey, let's reinstate Min Heejin as CEO, right? Which means Min Heejin's claim was deemed unbeneficial for enforcement. So this time, let's look at HYBE's statement, which is very brief response to this court decision. Okay? So 하이브 측은 보도자료를 통해 이렇게 밝혔습니다. 하이브 입장입니다. 감사합니다. 법원의 현명한 판단에 감사드립니다. 하이브는 이번 결정을 계기로 어도어 정상화, 멀티레이블 고도화, 아티스트 활동 지원에 최선을 다하겠습니다. We are grateful for the court's sound judgment. HYBE will leverage this decision to focus on normalizing Adore operations, enhancing the multi-label system, and supporting artist activities to the fullest. Very simple and brief, right? So, yeah. It's a clear indication that they're prioritizing stability within their labels, aiming for smooth operations without getting sidetracked by individual agendas. Min Heejin, however, insists that the shareholder agreement remains valid and guarantees her term as CEO until 2026. And her statement is quite long. 다음은 민 헤이진 측 공식 입장 전문이다. 이번 가처분 결정에 관한 민 헤이진 전 대표의 입장을 알려드립니다. 법원은 주주간 계약이 유효한지 여부에 대해서는 판단하지 않았습니다. 법원은 하이브에게 어도어 이사들에 대한 업무 집행 지시를 하도록 명한다고 하더라도 어도어 이사들이 이를 따를 의무는 없기 때문에 소외 이익이 없다고 판단하였습니다. 프로큐어 조항의 효력과 관련한 법리적인 이유로 가처분이 각하된 것일 뿐이고 주주간 계약의 효력이 부정된 것이 아님을 다시 한번 말씀드립니다. 하이브와 민희진 전 대표가 체결한 주주간 계약은 여전히 유효하게 전속하고 있습니다. 주주간 계약에 의하면 민희진 전 대표의 어도어 대표이사로서의 임기가 2026년 11월 1일까지 보장되므로 민희진 전 대표는 어도어 이사들에게 2024년 10월 30일 예정된 어도어 이사회에서 민희진 전 대표를 대표이사로 선임하여 줄 것을 재차 요구하는 바입니다. 하이브와 하이브가 선임한 어도어 이사들이 주주간 계약을 위반하여 민희진 전 대표를 어도어 대표이사로 재선임하지 않을 경우 민희진 전 대표는 하이브의 주주간 계약 위반에 따른 민희진 전 대표의 권리를 행사할지 여부를 적극적으로 검토할 것입니다. 오케이. 이번 결정은 법원이 하이브의 주장을 받아들였다는 의미가 아닙니다. 주주간 계약에 충실한 이인과 뉴진스와 어도어의 발전을 위하여 하이브가 현명한 판단을 내려줄 것을 촉구합니다. 뉴진스의 발전을 위해서 그렇게 언급을 했네요. 아무튼 간에 네, 이걸 반복했죠. 법원이 하이브의 주장을 받아들였다는 의미가 아니라고 하고 그리고 10월 30일 내일까지 대표이사로 선임하여 줄 것을 재차 요구하는 바이다. 이렇게 얘기를 했네요. Alright, so here we go. Min Heejin's statement. We wish to clarify Min Heejin's stance regarding this injunction decision. The court did not rule on the validity of the shareholder agreement itself. The court's dismissal was based on the reasoning that Adore directors were not obligated to follow HYBE's operational instructions, thus rendering the claim unbeneficial. The decision to dismiss was due to legal interpretations surrounding the enforceability of the procure clause and does not invalidate the shareholder agreement. According to the shareholder agreement, Min Heejin's term as Adore CEO is secure until November 1st, 2026. Therefore, she is formally requesting Adore's board to reinstate her as CEO at the coming board meeting on October 30th, 2024, which is tomorrow. If HYBE or the Adore board appointed by HYBE fails to reappoint her, Min Heejin will actively consider asserting her rights under the shareholder agreement, which has already been terminated by HYBE. This decision does not reflect acceptance of HYBE's claims. We urge HYBE to honor the shareholder agreement, faithfully ensuring the continued growth of New Jeans and Adore. Wow, they really mentioned New Jeans here, like as if she sincerely cares about their career now. Sorry, that was my sidetracking. So, in other words, she's planning to formally request Adore's board to reinstate her tomorrow, right? And if HYBE doesn't comply, she's considering further legal action, right? It's important to note that while this is her right, it raises questions about her, long-term intentions and how it may impact New Jeans, because as a shareholder and as a fan, I find it concerning that she's so insistent on pushing this agenda, right? Given that, she's no longer affiliated with Adore's, current board, this legal back and forth might hinder more than it helps the growth of the label and artist. Okay. Now, lastly, shifting gears, here's an interesting update. Min Heejin is scheduled to appear on a YouTube live session hosted by music critic Lee Myung-dae tonight. In fact, I think the live must be going on right now as we speak. Yeah, right here. So I will provide updates, but given the timing, it is likely that she will discuss this recent controversy and maybe even share her perspective on the leaked document and HYBE's response. I don't know. I might have to watch it. And her appearance raises questions about what she might say and how it could further affect public perception, right? Remember, she already had 2 press conferences and she had interviews with KBS, and then she also had an interview with CBS, and then she showed up at the Hyundai Card, event, and then she had a separate interview with Chungang Daily for an interview article, right? And Kim Young-dae is a music critic, like I said, who wrote this book, BTS The Review, 방탄소년단을 리뷰하다. And 9 days ago, I shared that, I got this book and I'm reading about it. And then people have been telling me about, Kim Young-dae, who is has gotten popularity thanks to, his covers of BTS and their music. But then lately, he has, I don't know, fallen in love with New Jeans and Min Heejin. And people are telling me how, he's like praising Min Heejin and said, bad things about like HYBE and the, management. But then I said that, perhaps you're right. He says such things. But I thought, the article. So he has written an article regarding HYBE versus Min Heejin situation, and it was published back in May. And I said, given how complex this issue is, I wonder how much he truly knew about the details, especially regarding what Min Heejin has actually said or done. And to my knowledge, he hasn't commented on the matter since then. But please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But guess what? Here we go. He's hosting a session with Min Heejin as a very first live guest of this session called School of Music D Talks. The first live guest. Given the timing, this is super interesting, right? And it's gonna be live streamed. In fact, it's being live streamed right now. So yeah. And I said, personally, I don't think it's fair to cancel his past work or, delete this post solely because of that one article from several months ago. That said, I'll be quite disappointed if he has already written something new that supports Min Heejin. So we'll have to see what he says. I've finished this book yesterday, and I learned quite a lot from reading this book. I think he has written some valuable things about BTS and their music. Now, I wonder, given the fact that he respects BTS, I wonder what he thinks about what Min Heejin said about BTS, right? February 4, 2024, 1 year before BTS returns from the military service, this is when HYBE is at its weakest. We end HYBE and Bang Seok at this time. So can you imagine Kim Young-dae asking her, so, what did you mean when you said this? And then can you imagine, asking her, what do you mean when you said you teaming up with President Kim from Kakao, the former president of Kakao Entertainment, to take over Bang Seok's company? And what did you mean when you said with the shaman? Sorry, I don't have that Kakao talk conversation pulled up in this video. What do you mean when you converse with your shaman who said, you should end BTS right here? Don't repeat the mistakes of SM Entertainment, something, right? And that was back in 2021, right? But I doubt he's gonna ask such questions to her. And my speculation is that he's providing another platform for Min Heejin to spread spread her agenda, just like KBS interview, CBS interview, Chungang Daily interview, and Hyundai Card event. But I might be wrong, so we'll have to check it out, and I'll provide you updates if there's anything significant, right? So yeah, we should definitely keep in mind that any statements made in this live may have a specific agenda or aim to reinforce particular views about HYBE, right? So let's stay objective and not jump to conclusions based solely on what's shared in tonight's discussion, okay? And finally, to my viewers, subscribers, and fellow fans, let's all take a deep breath. This situation with HYBE, Adore, and Min Heejin is very complex. I get it. And yes, it can be worrying, right? I know some of you are concerned that this conflict could disrupt HYBE's structure or even cause lasting damage. But let's remember that HYBE is resilient, As a company, it has weathered major challenges and come out stronger each time, ever since their, big hits entertainment days, right? This isn't the first time we've seen attacks on HYBE's reputation, and it likely won't be the last. And I believe HYBE's leaders are committed to stability and growth, right? And Min Heejin's tactics might be creating dark waves, but let's not lose sight of what matters most. HYBE's artists, the music and the community we have built together, So it's understandable to feel strongly about these issues, but we shouldn't rush to conclusions. Let's stay informed, grounded, and supportive of the artists and their music without getting caught up too much in speculation. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's discuss all of this respectfully in the comments below while staying positive and classy. Thank you very much. Peace and love. Bye-bye.